So, greetings. Last time I was talking about getting indoctrinated into my first duty station, and all the eye-opening moments that are associated with it. I found refuge in the gym. Imagine that. I loved playing basketball because there's always a crowd of guys there to play basketball with. And I would, since I lived on base, I could just walk to the gym and always find a crowd of people to play basketball with, and I loved that. I loved the freedom of playing basketball unrestricted, and just working on becoming a better basketball player, a stronger basketball player. I loved weights. I could go to the BX, which is the base exchange, which was like a little shopping mall, and they had magazines, and I would spend so much time there just looking at. One of my favorite things to do is look at the DuPont registry, all the exotic cars for sale, Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and just things you just can't even pronounce, nor I would never see in real life. McLarens, things like that. I just thought they were just amazing vehicles. And then I would always get Flex magazine or Muscle and Fitness, both of which I know Flex went out of business. And then Muscle and Fitness, I don't know if they're still in or not. I know their format changed radically. But I would look at these roided up beast dudes, and I would be like, man, I just want to see one of these guys. And I would go in and try to lift the weights that they do and things like that, and it just was never happening. I would buy a weight gainer and just have an upset stomach. Super high metabolism, so I just run it off. Never gained in and out of weight. I got strong as a bull, which was great. Awesome for basketball, and great for my job, having to lift heavy things and secure a lot of metal to metal locks with the TIC 39 van. That thing was insane. The copper wiring, etc., the power cables that would go to it, the grounding cables using a sledgehammer, all of that stuff was so physically demanding, but I loved it. Good googly moogly, I loved it. Then we would have air shows at the base, and that was my jam. I was now in the Air Force, and to see the planes in a static display and then see some of them come through. The first time I saw a B-1 bomber, I could not believe the bomb bay on this thing, and then the sound it made when it took off and flew over. The amount of power that is in that jet is ridiculous, and how low it can fly and how fast it can fly, because that's what it's designed to do. I thought it was insane, just insane, an insane vehicle. And the B-2 came. The first time I saw it, I'm like, I see why people think this is a UFO or a Batwing. F4s, vintage F4s, things like that. It was just cool as can be, seeing all the inventory come through and land at our base. Everything except for F-35, because they weren't online yet. I don't believe in the F-22. But I would later get a chance to photograph those two planes out at the Cocoa Beach Air Show. I love just walking around, enjoying myself there. Excuse me. Still getting over this, whatever. Excuse me. One more. All right, here we go. Then we would get involved in exercises. This was when you split up into two groups, day shift, night shift. You would convoy from out at the shop over to the excuse me, east side of the base, set up tents, etc., and run like a little mock war. And I was in love with this because we would set everything up. It was so excuse me, oh my gosh, so physical. I loved that, and I felt like we would set up all the comm for the Combined Air Operations Center, the KAOC. And it was just a really cool event. I really enjoyed it. Secure communications for the whole place. And that's what we were doing when 9/11 happened. Hated that. But I think it was Operation Blue Flag, or Blue Flag, exercises, Blue Flag. Then I keep looking over because I started writing down topics. The casinos. So being an airman and going to the casinos was hilarious to me the first time because I didn't gamble. I watched a kid sell everything that he had except for a guitar, a bed, a table, and a chair out of his dorm room because he was addicted to gambling. I believe he got kicked out of the Air Force because he was selling everything to go to the casinos to gamble. I couldn't understand it because I was big into observing. So I would watch, watch the families and these people come in, all this bright lights and music, and it was just amazing what you saw there. But then I started watching the people, how sad and upset they were, how beat down they were, how they were crying about, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent, as the security people would just usher them out. That's not their problem. You put your machine in that, your money in that machine. Now, if you would have won, you would be a whole different story. So I thought that was insane. So I would just watch, and I would watch, and I would watch. I'm like, this isn't cool at all. This is terrible. But they had one of the best buffets for like $6 to $8 that you could ever get. Some of the freshest food. Didn't know I like catfish. I love catfish. Louisiana is amazing for food. If you like to do any type of outdoor hunting, fishing, and if you like gambling, Louisiana is your place, especially Shreveport and Bossier. That is your place to go. You can do that from sun up to sundown. I loved the casinos because we go to a different buffet. We go to different pizza buffets all around town. We would go out to eat all the time in big groups, and we had so much fun, just so much fun, talking and just enjoying one another's company. We set up these big group dates, maybe once a month, and we would have a good time. We just really enjoyed each other. And also the whole time, I was a massive gamer. I loved playing video games. So I had a system. That's how I spent my downtime. When I wasn't at the gym or playing basketball, I would be at the dorm playing video games. And I loved it. Nobody would bother me. I had my own dorm room because I was the dorm chief. It was a really good time for me. Very low, and I love getting myself established that way. And My parents didn't worry about me. Um, I wasn't worried about my sister. Uh, I was just there to get the discipline I needed that I felt I lacked. Um, and it was happening. And I loved the process. I fell in love with the process. Uh, but I got made fun of because I was older and I only had 2 stripes. So I didn't realize this, but they would call me old 2-stripe. All the 18, 19-year-old kids. Because I was supposed to be an officer. I had a college degree. And then you just, you shrug it off and you keep going. But at the time it affected me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Those things were rough for me because I didn't really fit into a lot of groups, but then I got my 2 running buddies and then that was it. They were in my shop, they lived in the dorm, we all had separate lives, but we would come together and we would do some of the most fun activities, going to high school football games, going out to eat, challenging each other to do the things that the shop needed. If something needed to be done, the 3 of us would just do it. I loved that. I absolutely loved it. Had a great time. God, I had a great time with those guys. One of them would eventually go up to 9/11 with me at Ground Zero. I finally was able to talk to him about it a bit a year or 2 ago. And it's so bad that the best man in my wedding I don't even want to talk to anymore because you associate that time with that event. And surviving that was so heavy. That's hard. It's rough. And to hear it in his voice, to hear his opinion and things like that was difficult too. Now, I would like to go back, and I will, and I'll reconnect with him again. I have a different mental state now, a different mindset now. And I'd like to exercise that and do that again now. Where failure isn't failure. Failure is a way to point the path forward. The hard thing will bring about the most change. So as opposed to running from it, I'm going to run toward it. And I'm going to take that hurt human being when I get to that darkness, grab him by the shoulders, look him dead in the eye, and say, it is okay to feel this way. You have a right to feel this way. These things did happen. Now here's what you can do now, having survived this thing. You don't have to continue to be in this place, in this state. And this is how we're gonna walk through this darkness together. So I'll contact them and I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, that's what I got for today. As always, be the reason somebody smiles today. I think we got a tropical storm coming tonight, tomorrow, so this should be fun. And enjoy this beautiful day. Take care.